welcome to What Do You Think of This? We are revisiting the best things from our past to let you know whether they're the best things for your future. I'm Jeff Abiad. Here with me is Josue Escobar.
What's up?
Hi, Josue. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good
too.
Really good.
I added a new sound to the soundboard specifically
I saw that
for this episode.
I heard it.
We're going to be talking about the Addams Family today.
Yes, sir.
Before that, I do have a little trivia for you. And then later on, some closing the loop stuff.
Cool.
Just mentioning that now so people know they can look in the bookmarks right under the episode and see where all the stuff is happening.
Yeah. Skip ahead to the good parts or they're all good parts.
I don't know what this part is, but why don't you go ahead and roll that sound effect?
Good show, old man.
I'd like to introduce a new segment called Old Man Injuries.
Old man injuries.
Now, it doesn't always have to be injuries. Hopefully there aren't enough
Oh my gosh.
injuries to make this a full segment.
Are we getting old?
We're beyond old.
Oh.
As my kids always remind me, I'm from the 1900s.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so old that I didn't even know that was a meme. That's become a thing now. My wife has a t-shirt that says, like, be patient with me. I'm from the 1900s.
Wow.
I thought my kids just came up with that on their own.
Nope.
So yesterday, I'm going for a bike ride. It's the middle of the afternoon. It was Sunday. I hadn't moved around. I'm like, I just need to exercise. So I'm going for my bike ride. And Clark, my youngest, has been into like bikes, skateboard, all the stuff outside.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, Dad, where are you going? And I could tell he was asking to see if he felt up to the challenge.
Yeah.
And I normally go for like 6 miles or something, but I was explaining to him the shorter route we can take. So he's down. So I'm like, okay, man, come with me, buddy. So we go on my normal route, like just the beginning of it. And then I'm going to lead him back to the house. So we take kind of a back, like I know the neighborhood, back to the house, to whatever.
Yeah.
And we're on the last stretch back home. And he's riding next to me. And he's like, Dad, can you ride with no hands? And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't done it since I was a kid.
Oh, geez.
Used to do it all the time. And I'm trying to explain to him, you got to grab the seat behind. Can you ride your bike with no hands?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, I mean, a month and a half ago, I was riding my bike with Ezra and he was on the sidewalk. I'm on the street. I'm like, look, check this out, buddy. And I like let go. And I'm like, I'm riding like Titanic style for like, I mean, I don't know, a good 15 seconds.
Yep.
10 seconds.
And it was fine.
It was fine.
My experience was not fine. Because as a kid, I used to do it all the time to the point where I was like, oh, I get how people ride unicycles. I wasn't going to get one, but I thought like I could probably do that. So as an adult, I'm like, okay, it's been a bit.
Wait, did you hold your seat?
I started because I remember as a kid when I was first learning, if you just grab your seat behind you and then both hands that way and then let go.
Oh, because you can basically kind of balance yourself a little bit more.
Get your exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Not even to push, just to kind of get your mentally set.
Yeah.
So I do that with Clark. I had it, I don't even think 30 seconds. I don't think 15 seconds. I don't know. The bike starts going.
Yeah.
And then, if you're not completely comfortable, and I've never done it on this specific bike, it was all over before it even started. So before I know it, I'm over the handlebars, which ended up twisting completely around and landing on my hand. And I'm pretty sure I hit my chin. I was wearing a tank top. It's a miracle I'm not gashed all over the place except my hand.
Oh, man.
He's he's so little. He's like, Dad, are you okay? Did I distract you? I'm like, you're fine. It's not your fault. I'm an old man. I just can't do these things anymore.
Oh, no.
You have anything like that comes up? Because I feel like I'll sit down to play Legos with my kids and then I'll go to stand up and go, oh, my back.
Well, I mean, I got my car back from the shop.
Yay!
Everything feels really good.
Good.
It rides really well. I'm super glad it's like 100% safe. The front now. The wheels aren't going to fall off.
You don't have to worry about
the engine. Right? But there was a couple of things I wanted to, like, every time you get your car back from the shop, I feel like I don't know if they have dust that they just pour onto your engine bay. They just, hey, it's all done. But first, before we get it to you, let's just put soot or, I don't know, just dirty it all up. Because for those of you who don't know, I'm pretty crazy about cleaning the engine bay also. Mm-hmm. So I know what it looked like before.
Yeah.
And when I got it back, it was like a good layer of just white type of film.
Whatever was going on in the shop is just now in your car. Yeah.
And so I'm cleaning it up and it's low. So I'm like bent over pretty much the entire time.
I feel where this is going, yeah.
And then every time I get up, it's like, just to straighten up. I mean, that's the sound too. I'm cleaning it. I'm like, all right, finally got this one section done. And then Elizabeth's like, here, you want some water? I'm like, oh, thank you, sweetheart.
You have to do it slowly because if you do it fast, it's over.
Yeah, I just feel like those muscles and everything back here is just stiff. Like I just want to walk like this.
That's so dumb. It's like, it feels so stupid. Like, why is this hurting me? You know, even my fingertip, like I had to put a Band-Aid on my fingertip. I'm like, how fragile am I? It just was one little spot and it wouldn't stop bleeding.
Yeah.
Ephraim was in this dinner theater play last night. He was playing an old man. He's wearing a bald cap. He had a big stuffed thing in his belly and he's supposed to own a pizza shop. And I was trying to explain to him how to walk. I was like, you know, you got to walk like you're older. Just pretend everything hurts.
Just pretend.
You just got to walk like a.
That's so true. And like you get in bed and then you like just stretch out and your knee pops.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, what? I didn't even do anything.
Our age demographic listening right now is leading towards senior citizen.
Wow.
Because literally 2 days ago, I realized with the weather change, my body, I'm feeling the weather. I woke up, my whole body was sore. The arches of my feet hurt, which sometimes happens. And I'm like, oh no, it's a turn in the weather. My whole body feels different.
You know, it's really funny. At church, we have this like scooter, this like kid scooter, you know, adult kid scooter, whatever, just a regular scooter.
Just for the production team is in the back messing around.
I guess. I mean, it's they call it the church scooter now because it's all over the place. I've been riding that just to play around a couple of times a day, whatever. I get like the following day after it was a Saturday. I think I used it Saturday, Sunday, and then again like Thursday, and then again on Saturday or no, on Thursday.
Yeah,
on Friday. So I've used this 2 days, 3 days, whatever.
Just around the office,
around the church, whatever, messing around, having fun. You know, as you do in church sometimes.
This is not a motorized scooter.
Not a motorized scooter. I'm using my foot to push off my left foot. Friday morning, I'm walking down the steps and I'm like, oh my, did I pull something? I don't remember. Like, why does my calf in the back like kind of hurt a little bit? I'm like, because it felt different than being sore. And I'm trying to think back, and then I get to church on Saturday the next day.
Yeah.
And I see the scooter there and I'm like, oh, it's still here. Cool. And I grab it and I do the same movement. I'm like, oh, that's where that comes from. I'm like, not using this anymore.
I don't remember, man, this must have been before we moved out to Virginia. I remember the first time we bought the Nintendo Wii and there was that like Wii Sports and there was a baseball game.
Yeah.
And we're playing and I'm like playing into the like nighttime. It was super late and I just keep playing and my arm, I got like a baseball injury from playing video games.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
But now, and I don't know if it's because of that or whatever, I'll go out to play catch with Justice outside. And after 2 full days, like the third day, he's like, let's go play catch. I'm like, all right, buddy, just like 10 minutes. I had some stuff to do.
Yeah.
And I got like a couple throws in. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it 10 minutes.
Wow, this is pitiful. We need to work out more.
Yeah, hit that short clip will end this.
Good show, old man.
After the Sword and the Stone, Jimmy was here last week. For anybody that didn't see or hear the episode, he was our first special guest on the podcast. So he and I and my sister were talking about the Jam song, Jam Jam yesterday. And she didn't remember that it was from this movie. You know, she just knew the song. And I'm like, how do you forget? Yeah, she's like, it's just been in my head. And I'm thinking, yeah, there are so many songs that have just been living rent-free in my head from childhood like that, that other people may never know, but I'll all of a sudden be out doing something and then like, Danny Boy. I know the full song, Oh, Danny Boy. I don't know why I know it. The pipes are calling.
Wow.
Do you have any songs like that are just weird little things?
I mean, come on, man. I talk to anybody around me all the time. They're like, why are you singing that song? I'm like, I don't know. Just pull it out.
It just came out. So I thought coming into today's episode about the Addams Family, which has a very specific theme song, that I could base this trivia on TV show theme songs. So I have some old TV show tunes that maybe predated us, but I felt like when we were kids, even the stuff that was on that I didn't grow up with, but it was maybe Nick at Night or that sort of stuff, I just knew the theme song.
Yeah, because it's in the zeitgeist. It's like
It's
everywhere.
Now, is it the same thing? I just am not in tune with. The shows don't even have theme songs anymore.
I mean, do they? Do they not?
I don't know. Shorter. We don't have the attention span to sit through a theme song.
Like Smallville.
Somebody say.
See? You haven't even watched Smallville.
No, yeah, exactly.
And you know it. Yeah, see?
So we're not going to be able to play music under this quiz because it's a quiz about music.
Or like One Tree Hill.
I
don't want to be anything that I haven't been lately.
I don't. Oh yeah. We watched the OC at the same time, and that was California.
Yeah, that's right. Here we go.
Okay, the ones that I grabbed are way older.
Okay.
In fact, I thought I would start with an easy one. So I'll give you a couple lines, and
Okay.
then you fill in the next line.
Let's
Okay?
do it.
We'll see if you remember it, if you as well as you think you do. This comes from Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, the horse.
A horse
The
is a
talking
horse, of course. No one can talk to a horse, of course.
Oh, I don't know.
That is, of course, unless the horse is the
Horse. I don't know.
The famous Mr. Ed.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. No, see, I don't remember that.
I am Mr. Ed.
Yeah, that horse. I remember the show, but I think I don't know.
Young.
I was young, obviously, but it was in reruns for sure. By that time, by the time I saw it,
Okay, here's a story pretty
of
much,
a lovely lady.
Yep. Who was bringing up three very lovely girls.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to lead you there. All of them had hair of gold like their mother.
And something. Dum, 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 dum. I don't know the lyrics.
The youngest one in curls.
Oh, okay.
No? All right, I'm going to skip to a new one. Okay.
Oh my gosh. It's been years since I've heard that now.
I know, but I feel like that
Wow.
one I could still sing. Okay, but I have the lyrics in front of me now, so who knows? So no one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you're broke.
Your love life's DOA.
Hey, you got that one. Okay, that was a good one.
I know that one.
All right. Okay, this is another a little bit older, but it's in color.
Okay.
Do you know the show The Golden Girls?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do not remember the music right now.
Thank you for being a friend.
Okay, I recognize that.
Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. At home, fill it in.
I don't know what you want me to do.
You're a pal and a confidant.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Jimmy would have known that
my God,
100%. He loves that show. This is another oldie, so I don't know if you're going to know this one. Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. I don't know what key this is.
I don't remember that song.
Thursday, Friday, happy days.
I know the show is Happy Days, but I don't think I've ever watched it.
All right, well, don't worry about it. The line is, the weekend comes, the cycle hums, ready to race with you. And I didn't know any of those words, but I know them better than you.
Nope. No way.
All right, this one,
Wow.
just give me
It's a throwback.
any lyrics you can from the TV theme song for the Jetsons. Okay, can you hear it? Womp, 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 womp.
I'm trying to remember because the only thing that's popping in my head right now is the Simpsons theme song now.
Oh, that's oddly similar.
It's really similar.
Wonder if it's in the same key.
Yeah, probably.
Not drop D.
I know it's Meet the Jetsons.
Well, close. It's Meet George Jetson.
Something Judy, right? And Judy.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm losing it there.
Well, the truth is, you believe it or not, you got half of them.
Oh my gosh.
Because all it is Meet George Jetson, his boy Elroy,
Oh.
daughter Judy,
Okay.
and then Jane, his wife.
Oh. And
that's it. Those are the only lyrics in the whole song.
No way.
Yep.
That's so dumb.
And then just right back to ba-ba-da-ba-da.
Man, it's like, and did that come out at the same time as the Flintstones?
Yeah, that's next on my list, actually.
Oh, the Flintstones was cool.
Okay, so we all know Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones. They're a modern Stone Age family from the town of Bedrock.
Oh, you messed me up. Something hospitality.
They're a page right out of history.
Something
let's keep
about
going.
hospitality.
Let's ride with the family down the street.
Something. Da, 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 da. Man.
Through the courtesy of Fred's 2 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
They talk about them using their feet to drive.
In the theme song.
In the theme song. Man, that's
And
cool.
then we know yabba dabba do time. Okay. Okay, here's one.
Have a yabba dabba do time.
We'll have a gay old time. That's another real earworm. Do you
Dang.
know, I'm going to skip the other ones because there were some really old ones that I thought I would recognize. Laverne and Shirley's theme song.
No,
But
I don't know that one.
Schlemiel, Schlemazel.
Nope.
Haas and Pepper Incorporated or something like that.
Too old for me, I think.
No. Three's Company?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Do the first part.
Well, come and knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you.
Yeah.
Where
You
the
only know
kisses
this
are
'cause-
his and
Yeah.
hers and his Three Company.
That's
too.
a Full House pull, right?
Is it?
Yeah, because that's what Uncle Jesse sings. But it's
Oh, it is.
because the way that your inflection there reminded me of that. But
Yeah.
those are the lyrics. Okay, the last one I have.
Cut it out. Get out of here.
Do you know? Was it Joey? I
It
can't
was.
remember.
Yeah, I think it was.
Do you know the theme song for the Jeffersons? We talked about them because he
Oh,
was in
yeah.
Alice.
Yeah. What's his name? Fred?
Yeah. No, not Fred.
No, not Fred. What's
I
the?
was gonna say George.
Yeah, George Jefferson. Right?
Is it?
Yeah.
I can't remember now. All right. Anyway, last one. You know it? Okay.
East-
Moving on up.
To the east side, where we finally got a piece of the pie.
Yep. That's the last line. But
Yeah.
the middle one, do you know that one? I didn't know this. Well, and once I saw it, I was like, oh yeah. To a deluxe apartment
To a
in the sky.
I remember the apartment.
Most of these. Okay. Do you know the theme song for the Addams Family?
Oh yeah. Wait, do you know the theme song to another, I guess, 80s family show? Married with Children?
Oh, we weren't allowed to watch that, but I could tell you it goes love and marriage,
Go together
like a horse and carriage.
This I tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other.
Isn't that a Frank Sinatra number?
I don't know.
I think it is.
That's probably why it's so good.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I definitely know that song. Okay.
You know, in that show at the end of the intro video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where the fountain loses water.
I don't know that.
Oh, okay. There's like the.
I'm telling you, man, we weren't allowed to watch that
They
show.
introduced. It's so crazy. We were. They introduce all the characters, whatever, and in one of the episodes.
Wouldn't the dog come in for money from him or something like that? Okay,
Yeah.
that's
But
all
one
I
of
know.
the episodes, he gets a new toilet and he tries to install it himself. And when he uses it, it's so powerful or whatever, it like drains the city of Chicago's like water supply. And so the fountain goes like dead
Oh,
because of
that's
him. And they use it at the end of the intro theme song.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all.
So funny.
Okay, but because of the Addams Family movie, I was singing this to my kids this week. This is not the theme song that you will know.
Uh-huh.
This is one that I learned from my science teacher in junior high, Mr. Mao.
Mr. Mao.
Yep, M-A-U.
Wow.
Mr. Mao. A lot of other things happened in that class. A lot of childhood memories that will come up in this podcast.
Like the idea for communism.
No. He's solid guy. So, ba-na-na-na. We know the song. Okay. They're tiny and they're teeny, much smaller than a beanie. They never can be seeny.
They're beanie babies.
No.
No?
The Addams Family.
Oh, the atoms.
Together they make gases and liquids like molasses and all the solid masses. The Addams Family. They are so small. They're round like a ball. They make up the air. They're everywhere. Can't see them at all.
And are you recalling this from memory?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I think there's another verse that I don't know.
Did he get this from the Schoolhouse Rock?
I have no idea.
It sounds kind of like maybe that's where it came from.
And let us know, anybody listening to this, if you know this song, because I'm sure my sister does. I think she learned it in 7th or 8th grade from Mr. Mao. And then I came up the year after and she had already kind of sung it, you know, like kids do when they learn something.
Yeah.
My kids have songs like this too. They were just this week, they were all singing some random song. They had a Spanish song about the days of the week, actually to the tune of the Addams Family.
Oh, wow.
There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and that's what started this whole thing.
That's crazy.
And then Lucy had some other song about the Spanish days of the week. And I was like, they all just started singing it. I'm like, how do you know this song? I've never heard it.
Wow, yeah, the things you learn to make you like remember things, right? You know?
Yeah. It's very helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have the lyrics in front of me for the actual Addams Family, but do you know those lyrics?
The Addams Family. No, I don't. I know the kooky one. They're
Kooky and they're
spooky.
creepy. Spooky and they're creepy. Mysterious and ooky. They're all together. Kooky.
I don't know. I just keep saying kooky.
Dang it. Ooky.
They're Addams Family.
Their house is a museum when people
I don't
come
remember
to
that part.
see them.
Was that from the cartoon?
The TV show.
The TV show?
They really are a scream.
I think they used it on the cartoon also.
Oh, they probably did.
Probably did, yeah. That's probably where I really know it from, because when they played it in the movie, I didn't remember it very well.
The song?
Yeah.
No, man.
It came back to me, but I was like, oh wait, I just remembered the music from the cartoon so much because I think I watched that.
That's
way
the
more.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, let's hit the intro.
The Addams Family is a family that lives in a big house of torture, and they have a lot of traps and weapons in it. And there are a bunch of cool things in it. I like the movie because it's good and there's funny stuff in it.
So we're talking about the Addams Family movie. The reason that we picked this specific one, it's not the first one, 1991, I believe, but we're talking about the 1993 follow-up, which is Addams Family Values.
And we're watching this. This one was like the most nostalgia for you.
Yes, this is one, I remember watching them both, but this specific one, I remember having a good time.
Yeah.
So I wanted to introduce it to the kids. But when we talk about, first of all, 1993, by the way, is the same year The Three Musketeers came out.
Oh, that's funny. The quality is completely different. Wow.
It's very different in a lot of different
So
ways.
different.
But okay, I told you, like in my house, that viewing was limited. We weren't watching everything. I have no idea how this niche thing came through and was somehow okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like we couldn't watch Married with Children. We'll get into it, but this movie gets pretty sensual. And I'm like, whoa, is this okay? Whatever. So
Man, they have the greatest marriage.
well, so there was the original TV series. I don't know if you saw this on IMDb.
No, the black and white one.
Yeah, but when you were looking stuff up, did you see it on IMDb? Like you've seen.
Yes, yeah.
And this is like all those old theme songs. I knew the song before this movie came out as a kid. It was just a song that I knew because adults knew it.
Yeah.
And then this
it's really
movie,
catchy. They wrote it really well.
Oh, it's so good. And this movie came out next. And then in my kids' lives, there was an animated movie, 2 of them, I think.
Yeah, I never saw those. My kids never saw them either.
They're good.
Yeah?
I remember at least the first one being good.
Okay.
Man, don't quote me on that. It's out on the internet now.
I want to say like the second one of these 2 movies, I want to say the first one is still, I think, a little bit better than the second one.
It's a classic story, and my kids were feeling that way too.
Yeah, but they do a good job of carrying what they did in the first movie and bringing that into the second without like ruining it a lot, or you know what I mean? Like,
and they do repeat some of the same beats.
Yeah.
But yeah, and again, for the purposes of this podcast, the reason that we picked this was the nostalgia item. And so we're just going to evaluate this movie now on a rewatch, how we felt about this particular one. Had you seen this before?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've seen this before.
Okay, a lot of times?
I think I've seen this one maybe a couple times less than I'd seen the first one.
Okay.
I know I've seen the first one, I want to say maybe half a dozen times.
Yeah, had your kids ever seen either?
Uh-uh.
Okay, mine, we tried to watch the first one a couple of years ago, probably because I was wanting to get to this one.
Mm-hmm.
And Clark was too little and he just did not. When Fester popped up on screen, he was no,
You scared him, really?
Oh yeah. And I don't even know why. Some things get into his head. You know how kids are.
Yeah.
Like you just have something that you just does not jive with you and you, nope.
Ella was creeped out by the hand. But then she thought he was pretty funny.
It is pretty funny. That's what I was telling them. Even this time around, he was a little nervous at the start, but once you get into it, you realize, oh, this is funny.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a whole different vibe. And that was it. So I've never seen the old TV show. There are like, I think over 60 episodes of them, but there was only a couple seasons of the old one.
Oh, wow.
Because we pulled it up on YouTube after watching this just to see it, and it could not hold my attention. It was very like sitcom laughter, like the canned laughter, and you know, it was just wasn't.
It's super cheesy.
Yeah. It was,
did you ever watch Wednesday, the Netflix?
That was what I was going to say. Yeah, we did. Lucy and I watched that. Did you guys watch that?
Yeah, I watched it. I don't know if my kids watched it. Maybe Eva watched a few episodes with me.
That one I felt was geared more towards my teenager's age.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
They definitely leaned into, we're going to make this more modern, not necessarily more creepy, but it was like thriller, mystery, and more teen age
The
stuff.
second series is coming out. They're filming it right now, I think.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, so the writers of Wednesday are the same writers and creators of Smallville.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you feel like the shows feel similar?
No.
I just
Definitely
mean in their
evolved,
style. I know Wednesday is different.
Their writing is really good. I think they've gotten better, but their writing is very thoughtful, I think.
It does seem, though, intentionally geared towards a younger demographic.
Yeah.
Like it's not, I could tell when we were watching it, oh, this is not built for me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I watch like Stranger Things and it's still about young people, but this is like, okay, this is meant to include more of an adult audience that I felt like Wednesday was more geared towards teenagers.
And Addams Family, I think it's geared towards adults, but children, I mean, I don't know how young, but can enjoy it too.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of innuendos in it that I'm glad a lot of them go over my kids' heads. But there's that one scene when it was the very beginning of the movie, because it starts off with...
We're talking about this one we watched.
This one we watched. Morticia is pregnant. And she's like, Gomez, I'm having a baby.
Yep.
Now.
Yeah.
I love the way she's lit, where it's just her face.
Every time she's on screen, Angelica Houston, who plays Morticia, it was a great job with the lighting. Yeah.
Do you want any medicine? Do you want any sedatives? And she's like, no, but ask the children. It's so funny.
But you're saying the kids, like there was something that they didn't go over their heads that you wished it would?
I kind of, because there's a little girl. They're in the waiting room.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly.
They're in the waiting room, and the one girl is like, a diamond is in the cabbage patch, and the diamond turns into a baby, and then the stork brings the baby to the mommy and daddy, and that's how I have a baby brother or whatever. And then Wednesday's like, our parents had sex. Eva's in that age where she's asking these questions now, and she's kind of learning some more some stuff. Elizabeth's like talking to her. They're learning about all this stuff, all the stuff that's going to happen, sooner rather than later. And that's one of those questions that I was just like, we'll get to that later, and then it just keeps coming up. Anything we watch, I don't know why, but
it's everywhere. Even old stuff that I didn't even realize when I was a kid. Because I feel like sometimes that stuff will come up and I go, oh, I don't know. But I realize going back, like the references have not necessarily changed.
Yeah.
I think in some ways they're more explicit, but there's a lot of things in some of these old that I thought were like innocent shows or movies, that we've even talked about. That's like, oh, wow, this is right on the surface.
Yeah.
And this one really leans into some like, not just sexual topics, but like taboo sexual topics where you're like, what are these people doing?
Yeah, I'm like, man, I hope and I think after watching that, like, I think Eva definitely knows.
Definitely knows what?
She definitely knows sex is how adults have babies.
Yeah.
She definitely knows that.
Come on, she had to know that already.
I'm sure she already did. Well, she knew like, that women have babies through that whole biological thing. But like what does sex actually mean? Like we haven't gone through to that.
Sure.
But she knows that two adults have to have sex, but she doesn't know what sex is to have a baby. So it was one of those like, darn it.
Yeah, but
All right.
it's okay. So we didn't talk about it at all growing up. When I was a kid, it was like, I don't even know how anybody expected us to learn about this stuff other than you'll just figure it out, you know?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same way with us at home. Well, my mom was she's a different lady.
Yeah.
She's a different lady.
So stuff would just come up like,
yeah. I don't know if she thought that she needed to or whatever, or it would just be random.
Mhm.
Like, hey, I never told you this before and you probably already know it, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Oh.
Okay.
I remember very candidly asking my mom a question about that when I was a kid. And I don't know how old I was, but I didn't know anything. And now it seems so embarrassing. But because of that and because of the recommendation of some other people, I actually got a series of books that start about those conversations at a really young age, where you're not embarrassed to use specific words or talk about topics, and you open it up with your kids way younger than you would think. And nothing's explicit. It's very, very geared. And I have them right here. I gathered the kids around. I was like, hey guys, we're going to go through this book. And it was awkward for the first 3 pages, but it actually opened the door to have conversations like that. And now every time we're watching something and somebody's like, a term about anatomy comes up, everybody doesn't like giggle. Yeah. But it's like, let's just normalize. This is a body part. This is something that happens because I want them to be able to ask me. So that caught me as surprising and funny, but not as weird as when they started getting into the the way that they like to interact on a relational level.
Knives or straps. And,
Yes. Yeah. We haven't even talked about the plot of this.
No, but it's so good.
But maybe we can just quickly recap for people who haven't seen it. First of all, what the Addams Family is.
Yeah.
Because it basically just flips every normal thing on its head. That's the goal here.
I think this movie also, the Addams Family was also like what gave birth to like the goth scene for like teenagers and other people. Because basically the Addams Family is not your typical suburb family. You have the typical mom, dad, kids, grandma, aunt and uncles. But they are definitely like gothic. I think that's the only way you could describe it. Mm-hmm. And they're dark. They like to wear black. Everything's gloomy. Their house looks like there's a perpetual shadow over it. Mm-hmm. And everything is opposite. They're, oh my gosh, he's vile. He's disgusting. He's wonderful.
Yeah. They want bad is good.
Bad is good.
And good is bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. We take joy in just death and gross things and obscure taboo things. That's the whole thing. And in a way that doesn't make sense because it's supposed to be funny.
Exactly.
Like you're like, where's the line here? There's no line. I was looking it up to see when the Munsters came out because that feels similar to me. And I remember that being on. And that is 1964 also. Both of these, the original series came out in 1964.
Wow.
But similar thing. So, okay, quick plot synopsis of the first. You have Gomez and Morticia, who are the parents of this family. They have 2 kids, Wednesday and Pugsley. And in their house, they have a butler, Lurch, who's basically Frankenstein's monster.
That's fun, yeah.
And their grandma that lives with them. And this weird thing that's like just a hand crawling around on the ground. That Justice wants to be, I was like, we should all go as Addams Family members for Halloween this year. And he's like, I want to be Thing. Like, your back would be so sore. Yeah. We're going to dress you in black and you're just going to be a hand. I don't think it'll materialize.
And the actor actually did that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy. So anyway, they all live in this house together. In the first movie, you find out that Gomez's brother, long lost brother, Fester, he's a big plot thing, who's played by Christopher Lloyd.
Yep.
Now, the Fester you're first introduced to is Christopher Lloyd. There is a plot going on basically to steal all their money because they're super rich.
Yeah.
They're sitting on top of a, what is it? I was going to say a safe. Not dungeon. What's a word?
A cellar?
No, where he's like, where he comes and he's trying to get there and Gomez is like, nope, first thing we're going down to the.
Oh man, I don't remember.
Vault. The vault.
Okay, the vault.
Okay.
I was going to say what's that G word? Anyway, like where you have like a pool, not Guardiola. That's a person's last name. Guado? A Guado? Do they have a Guado? No, I don't.
Ghetto? No.
I think it is Iguado. Anyway, but yes, they go down to the vault.
Yeah, so the whole point, just because I don't want to go through that whole movie, is he's working with his pseudo mother to steal their money. He's pretending to be Fester, but by the end of the movie, after infiltrating the family and the kids all like whatever, you find out he's actually Fester.
Yeah.
He just had amnesia, and so he's been welcomed now into this family. Okay,
Yeah.
And by the end of the movie, so the second movie starts off. He's part of the family now,
Yeah.
and I like the way that they began the movie by just kind of showing you each character. Like the kids are out with their grandma digging up a dead body or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Something. And so they kind of set you up to remember where you were last time.
No, they're burying their cat alive.
Cat, and it's alive. That's right. They're burying the live cat. And at the end of the last movie, you found out Morticia was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which my kids didn't remember. I'm like, yeah, they were pretty like Gomez.
That's funny. Yeah,
I don't know
that's right. That's right.
She's going to have a baby. So they want to have a nanny come in to help take care of the baby.
Exactly.
And at the same time,
and the kids don't want the baby.
No. And that's why they needed the nanny, because they're like, they want to get rid of it. Yep. And Wednesday keeps teasing Pugsley, like, one of us has to go if a new one comes in.
He goes, which one do we get? Which one do they have to get rid of? Well, they don't need two boys.
That's right. And at the same time, Fester is looking for love. Like he wants to be a normal person, according to the Addams family, which is not normal.
Yeah.
And he's looking at Gomez and Morticia and their very sensual relationship, and he wants a partner too. Intro all these nannies, potential nannies, and then you eventually get Debbie. Okay.
My favorite part was when one of the nannies is using the puppet.
Yes.
And she's like, and then Wednesday brings out the devil puppet and goes, we'll clean our rooms in exchange for your immortal soul. And then rubs her fingers together like that. I love that's my favorite part.
It was
the entire
really
movie. That's the best part.
The character of Wednesday is so great.
That's how I sold the movie to the kids. I was like, these kids are like, they're super funny. Nothing is cool to them. They'll be like, you guys want to go to a camp and have some fun? And they're like, no, I'd rather die.
Yeah.
And my kids thought that was hysterical. They're like, okay, we want to watch people like this.
Yes. Did you know that Christina Ricci, who plays Wednesday, is in the new Wednesday series? Yeah. Yep. She's one of the main. I won't spoil it for anybody because she plays kind of a main character role. Yeah,
for sure.
But it's once I thought about that, and then you go back and look at this, you go, oh yeah, this is definitely the same person.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's really, Anyway. So give me just a short plot synopsis. So this all happens. Intro Debbie.
Intro the nurse that everybody falls in love with because she is not normal. She's okay with all the craziness that this family is.
Yes, and this is played by Joan Cusack.
Yeah, which she did great.
Awesome.
She was awesome in this movie.
I told my kids, I was like, guys, she's the voice of Jessie from Toy Story.
Yeah, that's right.
What?
And so Fester falls in love with her. They take her out to dinner with Morticia and Gomez.
This is all a sham.
Well, they don't know this at first.
We know though, right?
We do because they send the kids to
Camp Chippewa.
Camp Chippewa to kind of like get them out of the way because of the baby.
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
does this, Debbie.
Yeah, she does that. And on the news, you see that this lady has like gone for rich guys, and on their wedding night, they all die and she inherits money. And she's just she burns up all her money and she does this over and over again.
Kind of like So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah, exactly. That movie was great. And
was it? We'll find out.
Yeah. And so she marries Fester.
Yeah.
And takes Fester away from his family, tries to kill him, but he won't die.
Because he's an Addams.
She drops, what does she drop? She drops a radio.
Oh, the boombox.
She drops the boombox into the bathtub, and he's like, "Whoa, I'm okay, don't worry."
Yeah, then the little light bulb.
He turns on the light bulb. She's like, "Dang it, he won't die." So she kind of stuck with him, but she also makes him like not see his family. And so
in exchange for. It's basically for sex.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
This is what I'm talking about. Because the wedding night, the honeymoon, just to pause for a second.
Yes, true.
Because he's like all excited about the wedding night because she was like, they went on a walk or whatever.
That's
and
right.
she's like,
Oh
I
my
have
gosh,
to tell you a secret. I'm a virgin. And he's like, me too, And so, but that, man, when they're like, okay, well, I guess we're going to get into this, but she decides, oh, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this my way. So you have to cut ties with everybody.
Yeah, basically all these hoops that he has to go through just to get in the sack with her.
Yeah, crazy.
And I let my 6-year-old watch this.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know what's going on. But there's one very explicit, like Fester's
Fast forward.
So anyway, yeah, that happens. So
and so the whole plot is to try to get Fester back from this lady.
Yeah. Yeah, the family's trying to get him back. He's trying to figure out this conflict. She's trying to get access to like his money or kill him or whatever. Yeah. Meanwhile, Wednesday and Pugsley are at Camp Chippewa.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is my favorite part about this whole movie.
Man, some of that stuff in between the play when they do reenactment of like the first Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That would not fly today.
No. We'll come back to it. But what are the names of the two camp counselors?
Oh, they're definitely famous.
Gary and Becky Martin Granger. Gary Granger and Becky Martin Granger.
Yep.
And I like the way that they describe Camp Chippewa, America's foremost facility for privileged young adults.
Privileged, yeah. There's a bunch of white kids, rich white kids in this thing.
They all look the same. Every girl in the cabin is blonde with the same matching pajamas.
Yeah. Ponytails and everything.
And they're telling the ghost stories. I think it's the first night, and Wednesday's not having any part of it. And they're like, "Who's next to kind of pick up the ghost story?" And they cut over to Wednesday, and she's like, "I don't want to participate." They're like, "Oh, you can or whatever." And so she comes and sits down and tells this horror story, which is basically you're all going to wake up and find out your real noses are back.
And so like it's Gary Granger and Becky Martin Granger are played by Peter McNichol,
which you'll know if the name isn't familiar to you, you'll know him.
Baranski. But they're all over the place. I mean, they've been in so many other things.
Yes.
They're hysterical in this too.
They're so funny, and they're just putting on a show like they're the whitest of white people, and they're all like, let's be happy all the time, but there is evil seething under the surface. And I think that's what the Addams Family is. It's like, we're going to blatantly be evil, but we're the same people at home, whatever. You get what you get with us.
Yeah.
That's just it. Yeah. Whereas all these other people, there's all these layers of like
just so fake,
other subversive stuff going on. When she's like at the end, like, we don't like them, do we? Don't we wish they would just die? And all the kids like, yeah. And she's like, no, we don't. Like, oh, you're dealing with some stuff.
And all the immigrant kids or all the poor kids is so messed up.
We'll talk about it maybe a little bit later, but when they do this play that Gary has written about the first Thanksgiving, and then they, of course, give the leading role to this white girl who Wednesday hates, who was in the first movie as a Girl Scout.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Are your cookies made from real Girl Scouts?
That's so funny.
She gets the lead role, so Wednesday gets cast as Pocahontas.
Which she's not even around for the first Thanksgiving anyway.
So obviously factual error, and she's leading the tribe of indigenous people who are every minority kid or like cast out kid in the camp, kid in the wheelchair, kid with
braces
or whatever. Oh, it was so funny. But yeah, so did we talk? Oh, the one other character. What's the name of the guy who she falls in love with? Joel something, who's actually the guy that plays the main character in the TV show Numbers. Remember that show?
David, the kid David.
Is his name David?
Crumholitz? Joel Glicker?
Joel Glicker.
Joel Glicker. Yep.
Mr. Glicker.
He plays David Crumholtz.
No, that's his real name.
Oh, that's his name. Oh, okay. That's his real name. Oh, that's right.
And he basically over the course of the film falls in love with Wednesday, for the same reason, I don't know.
He wants to devote himself to her.
Yeah, it was great. So what were your favorite parts of this movie?
Man, I mean, the one-liners, the Wednesday one-liners are the best. You know?
She's the most perceptive, I feel like, character in both of these films.
Yeah.
Where she's super strange, but I guess I get why they made a series based on her, because she just gets what's going on before anybody else does.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because she's really nothing phases her. I think she's more intelligent than everybody else.
Yeah,
She
in the first
carries
movie,
herself with
she's like looking at Fester like, you're not who you say you are. And now in this one, she sniffs out
super
Debbie.
What is it?
Perceptive.
Perceptive. Yeah.
Yeah, she sniffs out Debbie right away, which is funny that she's trying to kill this baby the whole time, which is a weird little plot. But
They try to drop. My kids were like, I like it when they try to drop the anvil on the baby.
oh my gosh. Throw him out the window.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my gosh.
Did you know that baby Pubert was played by twin girls?
Oh no, I didn't know that. Huh.
My kids are like, oh, he's so cute. He really, because it's later on in the movie, when the plot or whatever, he gets blonde hair and rosy cheeks and stuff.
Definitely, yeah, you can definitely tell it's a little girl that by then.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the lines in this are so funny. Like there's one where Gomez is talking to Morticia and he's like, I want you to have everything you want, you know? And she's like, I'm just like any modern woman trying to have it all. Loving husband, family. It's just I wish I had more time to seek out the dark forces and join their hellish crusade. That stuff is awesome. Or like Wednesdays, Morticia's like, Wednesdays at this very special age when a girl only has one thing on her mind. And then the one of the nannies that she's interviewing is like, oh, boys. And she's like, no, homicide.
Homicide, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's so many things like that come up over the course of this movie that are just like, it's all full of gags all the time. Justice is like, does that baby breathe fire? You know, when the flames started coming out of the crib.
That's crazy.
The whole thing was.
Yeah, and you see like this whole, like the Fester getting like basically, I don't know, what do you call it? Kidnapped? Brainwashed,
and,
you know, by
Debbie.
By Debbie. Causes Gomez to like just go crazy. He's like, is it me? Why does he hate me? What did I do to my brother to deserve this? You know, kind of thing.
You are Mr. Debbie.
Yeah. And he's like distraught, and they call a therapist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He goes, maybe it's me. It's not him. Just this acting, Raul Julia's acting is so awesome.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
It's so good. And
he kind of loses it in the first movie too.
He kind of does too. Good, because he's got kicked out of his house, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he kind of hits rock bottom.
Yeah.
And in this one, he's calling into what's the TV show where she's like, Mr. Addams, where he's calling in because is this the first movie or this one? Because
that might be the first movie. I think that's the first movie.
Okay, yeah. It was similar though.
But it's so cool that they show like that turmoil between the family basically is like the family's not good. The kids are off at this camp that they don't want to be at. And then they're in their like right place of like they're with all these people who are terrible people, really.
The campers?
The campers, yeah, because they're so like prejudiced against different anyway.
They're socially accepted though.
Yeah, exactly.
Wednesday and Pugsley and the rest of the minorities are not.
Yeah, but for them, they're like, this is not for us. And, Fester's out being brainwashed. And so the baby turns into all of a sudden turns into like what we would say a normal kid.
Yes.
Rosy cheeks, the blonde hair, like what? Oh no, what's happening? He's hideous. He's what is he? He's cute. He's got rosy cheeks. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
How long will this last? Forever? No.
And it's all because of the turmoil that's going on.
Yeah.
Which is revealed by Grandma. Is she the one that figured this out when they're doing like a seance or something?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But they kind of see it because the baby can perceive it. And that's why it turned this way.
I realized watching this because we watched the first movie and I remember thinking like, oh wait, this grandma is not who I thought it was. Carol Kane plays a grandma in the second movie, but not in the first.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I noticed too. I'm like, is this the same lady?
Yeah, she's the mom, not the mom. She's the witch's wife in The Princess Bride. Right? I'm not a witch, I'm your wife.
Yeah.
And she's also in Kimmy Schmidt, the landlord,
which
is more recent.
Oh, she's so funny.
She's really funny. And she doesn't have a huge role in this movie, but she does what she does really well.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought again, in both of these movies, but this one, the casting seemed to be done really well.
Mm-hmm.
The family casting was all solid. But then even the external characters, bringing in, Joan Cusack, really great. Bringing in those 2 camp counselors, so good.
Christopher Lloyd, every time he's on screen, he's like a presence.
Yeah.
He takes it, those deep, like, what do you call it?
Circles on his eyes?
The circles on his eyes, really dark circles. They really transformed him. And he's it's almost like that. He's like that for real.
Yeah. He's kind of crazy. Even at the start of this, before you see it's him, we almost lost Clark again because this movie opens up with Fester howling at the moon.
Oh, yeah,
you just hear the howling, and Clark's like, "Ugh."
What is that?
It's Fester. He didn't love that.
The creepy part, that my kids were like, this is so weird, was like the hand massaging his head. So I can imagine that they're filming that. The guy has like blue paint all over his body.
Something. Or the arm wrestling too, all that stuff. But every time they cut to the camp thing, which isn't really an Addams Family gag, it's just, I guess this is the conceit. Seeing this ridiculous, evil, whatever, in a normal setting.
Yeah.
So like in the first movie, they're in a school play, right? And they're fencing and they're cutting off each other's limbs and blood everywhere.
And the parents stand up.
Yeah. And in this one, seeing them at camp with all these like quote unquote normal kids or kids doing normal things, and they're in line learning life-saving skills, and they're supposed to be like rescuing somebody in the water. And so it's always Wednesday and Amanda. And Amanda's this like perfect, white girl. And she's like, when I grew up, because she wants
to
be
Amanda or Sarah?
I think it's Amanda.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, am I misremembering that?
Yeah.
Projecting something?
You want to drown Amanda?
No, never. But man, as my wife is nothing like this. She's like, I'm going to be an actress.
Oh, yeah.
And Gary, brava! He's like, but she throws...
Amanda Buckman.
Yeah, Amanda Buckman. She throws herself into the water, right? And then Wednesday just lets her. She's like, I can't swim. He just watches
See the bubbles come up. Amanda?
So the cross-cutting of that ridiculously, and then coming back to Fester's dating, which is what was happening right at the beginning, and Gomez is trying to teach him how to woo, Debbie. And it's like, say something. And Gomez says something really flattering, and then he cuts over to Fester and he's like looking his way, and Fester's like, that's right. We deserve ugly girls.
That's right.
And Gomez is out there like spinning Morticia around the dance floor, and Fester's shoving breadsticks up his nose.
Yeah.
Those back and forth things, they just do really good.
The gags, they're really fun. They're really fun. It's like a good time. Yeah, it's a really good time movie. Really
great. When he finds out that Debbie is willing to marry him, right? Yeah. Which is, of course, a sham, like we said. Yeah. But he runs and he's so thrilled. And he tells Gomez, he's like, Gomez, something impossible happened, a miracle. And Gomez is like, the rash, it's gone. So I'm engaged. And
my gosh. So much backstory, so much of that kind of stuff that happens where you want to like know a little bit more of like, what is the backstory here? Yes. They always do that kind of thing,
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then back on the flip side, in the campsite, when they introduce the character of was it Joel Glicker? Joel, whatever his last name is, that ends up loving Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you find out he's like them. Like they're all like trying to convert them into just normal children, and they're like singing Kumbaya with the guitar because they're like, where'd the guitar come from? And then when later on, I can't remember what they do, where they finally have had it, so they lock them into the hut. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And they force them to watch Disney movies.
They watch like from morning till nighttime, right? The sun goes up, the sun's up, and it goes down. They've
in
been
this
watching.
Like really pretty looking hut, and when he comes in, even there's a poster of Michael Jackson, and he's like,
They come out, and this is how how Wednesday's like, okay, I'll be in your play.
Yeah, because they're like, you're gonna watch Bambi and Lassie and The Little Mermaid,
and this will make you normal, I guess.
And it's like the hills are alive, it's all these, And
this was like Wednesday's like backfiring plot on them. Like you thought you had me.
Yeah, you thought you broke me down, but really, I'm gonna get in and mess everything else up.
That was a really fun scene. The ending there with the camp
The camp. Yeah. So what was the name of the play again? I only remember the
Pilgrim's
song.
First Thanksgiving or something like that. I thought that's what it was.
Something like that. I'm going to look it up because it was really funny. But yeah. Anyway, they're in there singing their like happy turkey day. You know that song.
That's right.
Is all
They
full
come
of,
in. Pugsley's in that giant turkey suit.
Yeah, and he's like, it's like eat me.
The parents in the front are like, what? You just told us to eat them?
Yeah. A turkey named Brotherhood. That's what it was called.
A turkey named Brotherhood. Wow.
Chop off her leg and put it in your mouth.
The lyrics, dude.
But yeah, it was funny when they invite, so Amanda, who's playing this lead role, invites them all in, and she's like, the script goes like, oh, remember everybody, these savages are our guests.
Yes. They may not be like us. Wow.
And the parents are all there watching this thing, right? And then what's his name? Joel's parents are sitting there, and he's
they're
like,
so disappointed in him.
I am Running Bear, betrothed to Pocahontas.
He's like, oh, great. However much money they spend.
No, she says 20 grand. 20 grand we spend for summer camp, and he's Mr. Woo Woo.
Wow.
But even
so jacked up.
Oh, it's really terrible. It's like intentionally terrible. And all the kids, even the minorities or whoever was in it, they're still like painted brown on their faces.
Oh my gosh.
and like you think it's all going down the way they wanted, which is terrible. But then Wednesday is like,
no, hold on.
Dead man.
Yes.
Yeah. You've taken our land. You're going to force us to live on reservations. It's like, for all these reasons, I've decided to scalp you and burn your village to the ground.
That's awesome. Scalp you. I was wondering if my kids were going to ask me, what does scalping mean?
Yeah, another conversation.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about that either.
No.
I assume they knew. I don't know, but they start like literally fiery arrows to the set. This is the part that every time, and even still this time, got me laughing out loud.
It was so good.
Too funny.
It's funny because have you ever watched Dances with Wolves?
I don't know if I have.
No, with Kevin Costner.
I know the movie. I don't think I've seen it.
Every time somebody says scalping, I always remember like that scene where an Indian scalps one of the guys.
Oh, there's a scene of it happening. That's terrible.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be awful.
They make it look really, really easy. Like your skin just comes right off your scalp.
Well, I guess if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Got the right knife.
But
the right arrowhead.
When they're cutting back and forth between camp and the family, it was hard to keep track of scenes because it happens so often. But they're there, and they cut to Gomez, and he's got vodka and an egg yolk. He cracks an egg yolk in.
Oh, that's right.
He pours some vodka in and then hot. I'm like, what is he? And he mixes it all up.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he going to drink it? Worse, he puts it in the baby bottle. Gives it to the baby. Amanda's like, you guys should do that for your next test kitchen. I was like, no.
Vomit. Ugh.
It's just all so terrible and so funny.
But the gags that they have to come up there in the writing room to make all that stuff. It's just so brilliant. The one thing you mentioned, like the going back and forth between the camp and back to the family and camp. That's the one thing I felt like in this movie in particular. I think when you were in the scenes of the camp, they were great. And when you're in the scenes of like what was going on with the family back home, they were great. But the cutting between them, it felt a little disjointed. Mm-hmm. You look at different stuff today that kind of do the same thing. You haven't watched The Godfather 2, have you?
I haven't, no.
So the way they go back and forth there, because there's like a time jump, they go into the past of Don Corleone's like beginning, and then the present. The way they go back and forth between those, there's like this coherent type of like storyline or beat that kind of like has a relationship. Mm-hmm. So for example, like Fester, let's say, is being manipulated. There isn't like the same thing happening with like Pugsley and Wednesday. They're not going through like a similar type of theme.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's where it kind of felt a little disjointed to me, where I don't know, I think they could have done that a little bit better, where they could have like shown you maybe some parallels in what was happening between them, maybe experiencing something similar but different in a way.
I think
that's what made me feel like number one was I think, a little bit better because there wasn't any of that like scrambling because you had to remember a little bit what you saw last time they were in the camp versus, and jumping back and forth. And you could keep up, but it definitely kind of throws you a little bit because there's no like, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's no underlying theme for the both of them to follow.
Mm-hmm.
It was very different. It was like almost two different, it could have been two different movies almost.
It did. Yeah. It felt like maybe because it's like that TV show format.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to stick maybe a couple different episodes into one movie. Because you would have them at camp and they'd be reading a postcard from Fester saying, I can't see you again.
Yeah.
And they would have to go back for the wedding, you know?
Yeah, it's weird.
What's the song that Lurch is playing, by the way, when they're walking down the aisle from Fiddler on the Roof?
Oh, that's right. It's not
This is a little girl, a sunrise, sunset. He's playing on the organ.
Oh my gosh.
So you have those kind of back and forth, but it did feel weird. Like,
yeah, well, but like I said, they try some of that kind of thing, but the rest of it, they really didn't kind of keep up with.
Yeah.
You know, because there was no. Did you feel like there was a like the scene with the campfire and all that kind of stuff, like they're burning down the village? That seemed like really big finalizing type of thing. I don't feel like there was that for Fester at the end, other than like
when Debbie tries to blow him up.
The explosion happens, but it wasn't congruent, was it?
Right. Yeah, so, maybe not.
So the way it kind of finalized wasn't they weren't matched up. Like normally, like you would have the crescendos be at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, and you can go back and forth between like, oh, they're having this big moment, he's having this big moment at the same time. I think Debbie was in the bar.
Yeah.
You know?
Macho man. Right.
Yeah. And did you notice what's his name is in it?
Yes, the monk. Tony Shalhoub. Yes, I pointed that out too. I'm like, how did they get him in this? And also Nathan Lane is a police officer.
That's right. And so she's there while that other stuff is happening, and it's like a little bit not joined as well as it could have been. I think the climaxes. I think
probably also because they wanted to get them all into the same place at the end. I'm not saying this justifies it, but at the end, how do you own this many electric chairs? Even being crazy, I don't know. But she has each of them strapped into an electric chair, and she's going through her whole backstory.
What happened to his toupee, by the way?
Whose? Oh,
Fester's.
I don't know.
He had it for one scene, a scene and a half, and then it was gone.
Did he say it itches or something like that?
I don't remember.
He seemed like he was going to wear it, and then he just doesn't. Yeah,
I think they were like, "This is dumb. Don't wear this."
It was really stupid.
But yeah, they got to get them back to the electric chairs. I mean, for the scene, she had to get them all back into one house to try to kill them all at the same time. I don't know why she needed. Well, I guess because they found her out.
The kids leave camp. They sneak out of camp.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And Pugsley drives the van. Yeah.
That's right.
And,
oh my gosh.
And Joel kisses Wednesday through the fence. Yeah, he's like in love with her. So I thought it came together okay, but I get what you're saying, that it felt a little bit more disjointed, where the first one felt this is all one story.
Yeah.
And this one felt like a few different ones.
Yeah, because they don't ever pay off any of the stuff that they went through at camp with the parents.
Well, except Wednesday's like, you sent us to camp. You know, she's just mad about it. But it did feel like, because throughout the movie, there are so many weird little gags that are just like one-offs. Like this happens. You know, I'm going to throw my brother against the wall and stick him with a bunch of knives behind my back, or, you know, stuff like that. That it felt like the scenes were like that too. They're going to do this now. And now they're doing this. And now they're, you know, breaking out of camp. And now this thing is and now we're at a police station with Nathan Lane, which, by the way, was one of my favorite lines from Gomez when he's freaking out, you know, and they're like, sir, you know, you need to calm down. And he's like, you don't understand. And he's listing all the things that are wrong with Fester, and they all sound like great things. Like, he's newly married now and he's whatever. And I'm like, sir. And he's like, we must issue a subpoena. I believe they own a Buick. He's so mad.
Oh, that's like that scene in SNL with Will Ferrell, and he was like, I own a Dodge Stratus.
Yeah, I own a Dodge Stratus. And they're eating dinner. Yeah.
I drive a Dodge Stratus.
I love that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if that was just sort of the style on this. Was it the same writers in the first and the second?
I think so. I think so. I think it was, because I think I saw. I always try to like watch something that's related. Anybody else watched or reviewed the movie? And there's this podcast called Cinema Therapy. Have you seen that?
It sounds familiar.
Well, they kind of reviewed. They do like therapy sessions with like particular movies. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, that's funny.
But they took Addams Family 1 and 2 and did something with that, and they said it was the same writer, same director, or whatever. So
okay, because it did. There was a lot
It felt the same. It felt really good.
The characters, that the development, that stuff felt the same.
Yeah.
But the story played out in a different way. They were trying something different,
Mhm.
which is probably why, and I think this is usually the case, and why I wanted to come to the sequel, because normally you go to a sequel, and this is the problem with sequels. You're trying to redo what happened in the original, but make it different, but not too different, because if you make it too different, people won't like it.
Yeah.
And then you get Joker 2. Have you heard all the reviews about that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
People are angry, and not even angry.
I don't
hate it.
I just don't think that the was Joaquin Phoenix and the director. I don't think they wanted to make that movie. So I think they were like, "Fine, we don't know. We weren't planning on this." But I think Joaquin Phoenix originally said no, and then I think they were just like, "Here's some more money," and he's like, "Okay, fine."
Yeah, this is what you're gonna get,
and he just phoned it in.
And it's going to be a musical, but it's not. Like, we can't tell everybody it's going to be a musical because then they won't want to see it, and it just all backfired.
And the confusing ending at the end. Anyway,
did you see it?
No, okay. I heard about it.
I didn't hear about it. I didn't, because I think I'll watch it at some point.
Yeah,
just
watch
to see.
it when it streams. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. But yeah, so you never know with all the stuff going on with the studio and the directors and the writers and the cast.
Yeah.
But because this one came just 2 years after the first one, which you almost had to do because the kids were obviously a little bit older in this movie. You could tell.
Oh, yeah.
They aged up a little bit, even though it's supposed to pretty much happen right away because she's having the baby. You got to like capitalize on that. So maybe with a little bit more time.
So at least 9 months passed.
Yeah, I guess. No, because even then it was like when the baby thing happened, didn't it say like a year later or some 9 months later? Maybe it didn't.
No, I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway, I was just saying like they didn't have a lot of time to like go back to the writer's room and fix some stuff. But where the writing maybe lagged or that storyline stuff, the cast in this was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, Wednesday, Christina Ricci did a really great job. And like you said, that's why they wanted to do Wednesday. Because just that character gives so much stuff. Morticia and Gomez Addams, though, they are one of a kind.
Yeah, even in like...
you can't do that again.
In the new Wednesday series, it's Luis Guzman.
That's not the same.
And...
why'd they make him so...
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones I can kind of see, but why him? He's nothing like Raul Julia, nothing like that type of person.
No, but if you go to the old TV series... He's also different. He's not super different. He's playing with a train set in the one that we saw. But he's like a little kooky.
Yeah,
he's kooky. He's like a funny character, kind of airheaded, which he is in this one too. What's the actor's name again? I just blanked of Gomez.
The Raul?
Yeah. What is it?
Raul Julia.
Raul Julia.
M. Bison, Street Fighter.
That's right. He's just so good at this character that when now you watch even the new animated one, it feels like that's the one we're drawing from.
Yeah.
It's just a very particular Gomez. So when they brought in Luis Guzman, I imagine they were probably considered a bunch of people and they thought, oh, why don't we just take it a different way?
Yeah, I think that's a smart thing to do. And I think those writers are really good at too. It's like, we can't make it exactly the same. So we're going to give it to somebody because he does do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're kind of in love with the way Raul Julia did it, it's really hard you can't implement it because you're just going to hate that person. So guy, he's different enough that you're like, okay, he's doing something different, but you just kind of wish it was Raul Julia again. Yeah,
especially when it's something like beloved. Because when you got to this movie and it was Carol Kane as the grandmother, I don't know that I remember a lot about the first one. And I just watched it.
Yeah.
She just sort of fits in there, but she makes it better.
And they recasted Cousin It.
What?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
We didn't talk about that at all, by the way. And my kids loved that. Yeah. They were like the whole storyline, especially the little baby, because at first they were almost afraid, like, what's this going to look like? And Lucy's like, oh, it's so cute. You know, this little hairy thing. And with his little voice.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, it is with the rest of them at the bachelor party for Fester, which is like, what is happening? And we didn't talk about either, but what's his name? Lurch brings out the cake and they're like, there's a stripper in the cake.
Oh gosh.
You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they burnt her up.
And they're like, "Ta-da!" And like they open the top and it's smoking. And he's like, Lurch, did you put the woman in before you cooked the cake? You know, it was so great.
Just casual murder.
So I think it's hard because you want to recapture the things that you love about the first without messing it up or making it too different, but still doing something different. So I think it's a really difficult task, you know, which is why you get so many weird sequels.
Of all like the movies that have sequels, you know, these are the ones. This movie is one of those that you're like, I'm okay with this sequel. They did a great job.
Yep.
It wasn't too different, or it wasn't one of those like, yeah, oh, this was super successful. Make another one. We don't have content for it.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of planned it out with her being pregnant. They kind of left it as if this is successful, we have a little something that we can do with it.
If they were to try and bring it back, say 10 years later,
like a reunion.
No. I mean, in the timeline, if they were like, these were such smashing successes that we're going to do this, but not everybody was on board. What do you think would be the parallel Addams Family movie to, say, Superman 3, which we talked about early on? Because remember, in that one, like, you didn't have the characters coming back, you know, Lois Lane got sidelined.
Yeah.
It was a whole different story, a different villain that was similar, you know, but wasn't Lex Luthor. And everybody hated it.
Oh my gosh.
You know, could you imagine? Because I don't know how you would make the plot of the Addams Family more ridiculous.
I know, right? Yeah.
But I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't end up coming back and trying to do something, you know, and ruining it.
Yeah.
Because it could have gotten
really worse. I thought I heard about an Addams Family reunion of the cast.
No, I sent you a link on that because we were planning on doing this, and then I popped up on my Facebook feed.
Yeah, so is that really happening?
I think they just got together for an interview, or something like that. But
man, they're all, because they're all still around. You know, and there was a movie. There was the Addams Family, the 1998 Addams Family reunion, which was, I think, terrible. I don't think I ever saw it.
With them?
Different cast.
Okay, I did not see that. So maybe it did happen. It happened after all, and it was terrible.
The creeper guy from the Three Musketeers.
Wait. Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah, he's
Gomez.
He's Gomez.
I mean, I could see how you got there, but I don't like it.
Nah. See, that's the thing, and it's not the same writers, the same cast. So it's terrible.
Yeah.
You can't once you capture lightning in a bottle, you just can't. You can't do it again.
Yeah. We've had so many that we've come to the end of these and I go like, it's not even a secret that I feel like this works. But if you had to recommend or not recommend this movie, would you tell somebody to go watch it?
Oh yeah. I would tell people to watch this. Yeah, for sure. I think I would tell them to watch the first one first.
Yeah.
Because it's a good introduction to everything. And I would say, I think you should watch the second one afterwards because it just carries on pretty well.
It would be hard. You could jump in on movie 2 and get it and not be confused, I think.
Yeah.
Your kids did that.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I think that first one just adds so much to set it up that this might not be equal to the first, but I would say it's more than pure nostalgia. I think this holds up.
It holds up for you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it holds up for sure. I mean, the jokes, the one-liners, I think you were able to get away with a lot more stuff than you are today. And I think it's I mean, I like it. You know, I kind of miss that kind of stuff. When
they're, ransacking the stage and the minorities are taking over and they're burning down the village and they have, what's her name? Amanda tied to the stake with an apple in her mouth.
Yeah.
And the little kid on the wheelchair is just spinning around with the rope to tie her up, It's like, all that chaos, and they're roasting the camp counselors.
Oh
over
my
the
gosh.
spit.
Yeah. That fire looked real, by the way.
It did. It really did. But at that point, you as a viewer were like, I want to see these people die. Not really, but it's like they were awful.
Yeah, they really were.
So I almost think you could do something like that again because in the political environment that we live in now too, there's a lot of similarities.
That's true.
Tongue in cheek, like it felt like an SNL parody.
It really kind of did, but going all the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not holding back.
I would say everybody, if you get a chance to watch this, you should watch it. which I should mention, we have been putting video clips out on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, they've been great.
That's at youtube.com/@wdyt.show. And the clips of the show, shorts that are also up on our Instagram channel. And you can find us there too, because we're going to be throwing some more stuff there, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody, let us know what you think. I'm really curious what people think about this, if they've experienced this. I wasn't really sure what you would feel about this coming in because I knew it was a sequel.
Yeah.
So, I'm always happy to go back and revisit a sequel. And I would love to hear, what other people think about this story.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel like people will love it.
I think so too. I mean, obviously, I pointed out things that I kind of would tear down because I would like trying to find those things as to like just to look back at something because I don't remember it that way, you know.
But still a good time.
Still a great time, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was really awesome. All right, well, let's close the loop.
It's like a snake eating its own tail.
We reviewed The Sword and the Stone.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, man. Still one of my favorite Disney films.
It's really fun.
It was really good. That was episode 14. I mentioned that the voice of Sir Kay, who is Wart's adopted brother, who's eating the chicken leg,
That's right.
plays Lou in Back to the Future. And we couldn't remember who that was.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah, who's
who
that?
is Lou? He's the guy that owns the diner. So when Marty travels back in time and he just wants a Pepsi at the diner and the guy serves him coffee, he's like, oh, we have coffee. That's Lou.
Really?
It's Lou's Diner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or Lou's Cafe, I think.
For some reason, at first when you said the diner, you mentioned the diner, I was thinking the custodian, what's his name? He became the mayor.
Oh, yeah. He's the one that he works there at the
He works
cafe.
there, yeah.
Yep. And then in 1985, it's the aerobic fitness center, but it's possibly still Lou's.
Lou's Aerobic Fitness Center. That's
I'm
funny.
not exactly
Maybe.
sure. But yeah. And then Martha Wentworth, who plays Madam Mim, is the voice of the old squirrel and the scullery maid.
Oh, really?
Actor.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
And you had asked whether Merlin was the first wizardy character of his time. And it said that, because what I looked up, I got a couple answers here. This was actually, talk about a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
This went really far down the rabbit
A
hole.
white rabbit?
This was this person's response. The answer potentially goes back thousands of years. But it said one clear starting character of all this stuff was a character named Mentor. Yep. Let me see. The son of Odysseus in Ulysses. Oh man, I don't even know this story. But if you go back to the story, the character is named Mentor. It says, whom Telemachus, son of Odysseus, goes to for advice.
Wow.
And it says the character of Mentor is one of the most beautiful uses of symbolism in all of literature because Mentor, though an old man, is actually Athena, goddess of wisdom. But I assume, therefore, is why when we get the word mentor, it's like a human incarnation of wisdom. So when you call somebody a mentor, it comes way back from here. So all this stuff is what kind of seeded into these things like Merlin and Gandalf and Dumbledore and all these like similar characters.
Yeah.
All go way back to that. So it was a really, really interesting. But it says Gandalf was heavily based on Väinämöinen, one of the main Finnish folklore heroes and one of the main characters in the Finnish epic Kalevala.
Kalevala.
I don't know. If you're interested, there's a whole other thing about that. But the archetype is often associated with Merlin, who became associated with King Arthur, and then Gandalf. But Gandalf, it says, was also partially influenced by Odin.
Wow.
We talked about Thor, Hammer, that sort of stuff. Like they're all weirdly tied together. It's weird how we keep coming up with new stories to do the same thing.
Yeah, that is funny. Hey, man, if it's good, why not reuse it?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, guys, let us know what you think. Whether it's about this topic or future ideas, I would love to give you a mention on the podcast and hear what you have to say. If you want to send that in audio form, you can send that to creepy@wdyt.show. That's what do you think? And we'll let you know. And you can also just leave us comments on Spotify. And there, if you scroll down, you can also let us know specifically what you think about Addams Family Values. I threw a poll there, so you can give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you think, nope, this is actually the worst movie I've ever seen. And you guys don't know what you're talking about. If you're wondering what's coming next week, go ahead and pause the podcast and zoom into the artwork and see if you can find the Easter egg.
Oof.
Did you see the Easter egg that I threw into the Sword in the Stone episode to tease Alice was coming back?
Oh, now I missed that.
Yeah.
Or what was it?
It was, so when Merlin is packing up, all of his little books are floating into the little bag. And if you zoom in, one of the books is Alice in Looking Glass Land. Yeah.
Good one.
It was great. I actually don't know how I teased this episode because in real recording time, I haven't made the artwork yet.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
somehow Alice is going to tease the Addams family. And somehow, if you paused, you know already that this episode is teasing something, Josue, and I'm afraid.
Yes.
What is it?
Be very afraid. It's just child's play.
Stop. It's Halloween.
It's Halloween.
We're leaning into something spooky, which is not my preference. I just want to throw it out there.
That should have kind of clued you in.
Yeah.
It's in the title, child's play.
Yeah. Of what the movie is?
Yeah.
Well, I know what it is, but do they know what it is?
They should.
Oh.
I mean, it's a throwback, a throwback horror movie. And if you know what child's play, the only thing I could be talking about is our good old buddy, Chucky.
Yeah. Not my buddy. You had a personal story with my buddy, which I feel like is
do.
why we're coming back to this.
Oof.
Do you honestly think that this movie is going to hold up?
No.
You don't?
No. Yeah. I don't know. I got to watch it again.
Okay, I've never seen it. We didn't watch this stuff growing up. And I am legitimately like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't know how I watched it when I was a kid. I don't know how my parents or how my dad let me watch this.
You definitely didn't sleep
my
well.
brothers did not sleep well.
This isn't on our podcast schedule, but I'm going to say I'd like to throw in a companion to Chucky.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to sleep.
Yes.
So
you want to watch Barney afterwards?
No. This is a really short childhood favorite of mine.
Okay.
That fits a Halloween theme.
Okay.
And it is the Garfield Halloween special.
Oh, I love Garfield.
Yes. Have you seen the Halloween special? All right, great. Because then at least it's something we can also watch with our children.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. and then we can talk a little bit about both of them. We'll keep the Garfield talk short.
There's in Chucky, the character Andy, who owns Chucky, it's really funny to me that in Toy Story,
the boy's name is
Andy also.
Is his name written on Chucky's feet?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Nobody's ever seen the bottom of Chucky's feet.
It's probably just covered in blood.
Yeah, it's like Sid's house. I don't know. Well, listen, until then, why don't you go ahead and take 5 seconds and give us 5 stars?
Yeah, give us 5 stars. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, a like, a share is much appreciated from us.
Please share.
You can do that on Apple, on Spotify. I'd say just whatever platform you use, share that with somebody else. And that's the easiest way that we can find more amazing listeners like you. And you can find all of those links as well as our YouTube channel, Instagram, all that stuff is at wdyt.show. That's our main hub, our page, and we would love to hear from you and for you to share that. In the meantime, thanks, Josue, for another great episode.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. It was awesome.
It was a great talk, and I've been practicing my finger snaps, except now with my bicycle injury, I can't snap. I'm just showing off. Must be nice. All right, everybody, we'll see you next time on What Do You Think of This?
All right, peace out, everyone.